We are very proud to be in the Biennale for the second time. The 56th edition was our first time, and of course that comes with many insecurities and fears, but now we are welcomed back to the Biennale. We feel like we are standing tall and strong, and we are so proud to present our Grenada artists.
This art piece began with a collection of sardine and seafood cans. I noticed them as I traveled around the world. I noticed the differences in the pieces in different countries and the way that they presented it for their potential customers. And they appeared very pretty to me and different. And so I started collecting them with nothing in particular in mind at the time. And as the collection evolved, I recognized the differences in the movement of people, the differences not just in the pieces, but in the fact that people are different and at the same time, they're the same. The food that they eat, the things that we share. So this piece is a collaboration of many, many people. It's family and friends and co-workers. My piece, it's just based in Grenada because that's where I live and that's where I put it together. But at the same time, it comes from the rest of the world. And that is why it is a privilege to be here, to show Grenada as a small country, but at the same time, we can embrace the rest of the world.
This work essentially is about our relationship in Grenada with the reef or sea life. I use this object, the sea fan, that washes up from the reef onto the beach to talk about our integral relationship. When we see the sea fan, we might as well think of our own lungs because our relationship is so close that the life of the reef is linked to our own breathing. The people that I use in the installation are people that I know, many of them I grew up with, which is an extension of the work as far as the reef and marine life and ecosystems are not abstract ideas. It's not a rock off in the sea. It's something that we do have a relationship with. When we think of the reef, we should be thinking of it as if it's our friend or someone we grew up with, because that's closer to reality then. We've lost a lot of our reefs. One figure says 80% of the Caribbean reefs in the last 20 years have died. And so the beginning point for this was trying to source everything that I used to make the art in Grenada. You know, something that we're able to get on the island without having to import or, you know, all of our work should look as if it came from a certain place, a certain time in history. And I like to add amongst certain people that your work really resonates, that it came from a very specific context. And I hope that my work reflects that.
So I've been involved with the oceans for a very long time. I've been a sculptor for over 20 years and involved as a scuba diver for many years. But around 11 years ago, I started actually installing all my works underwater. And I wanted to use my sculptures as a kind of bridge or a portal to another world, to sort of act as an interface to get people more interested in the marine environment. So all the materials I use in the sculptures are completely inert, they're pH neutral, and I sort of use that as an interface to provide a new substrate for corals and for reefs to settle. So I've been really fortunate as a diver and someone involved in the underwater world to see, you know, some of the spectacular colours and textures and forms that are produced underwater. But at the moment, those habitats are at risk and those habitats are changing. These particular works here in the Grenada Pavilion are all about coral bleaching. You know, this year, you know, we've seen vast stretches of the Great Barrier Reef in Australia completely decimated by coral bleaching, by rising temperatures, global warming. I really hope is that the works actually are a platform for people to enter into the marine environment, to really sort of see how spectacular it is, how beautiful it is, with the ultimate aim of encouraging people to protect it.
bridging between the two different civilizations coming all together. It's a bridging between different ways of thinking coming together. And most importantly, what I was aiming from the theme is to bridge between a little bit peaceful part of the world into the more part of the world where there is certain, if you can call it, war zone.
The way of communication between human beings, between cultures, between civilizations, does it always have to entail conflict, or could it be a dialogue and exchange? This hybridity is actually super attractive for me in my practice. The only way to kill war is to extend bridges and dialogue, you know. And I think 30 years ago or 40 years ago with this notion of multinational companies, the principal reason for the multinational was not neo-colonial in nature as much as it was to actually, the only way to kill war is to have like many people from different civilizations, different cultures, different upbringings to work together in any one place. It kills conflicts and bridges between cultures.
Though we have different tongues and maybe different faces, but at the end of the day, we look for the same aspirations. We have the same dreams, and we have the same will of life. But our work is just one brick in the wall of intercultural exchange. Our work is just one step forward of people from different parts of the world coming together to form one interesting pavilion to represent different cultures, different ethnic groups, different religions, different colors, different languages, different everything, coming all working together to form one thing.
I'm showing a film called Sundays with the Smiths. It looks like directly against the invasion of Iraq, but basically it's about the human being in general. Being originally from Iraq and seeing my country destroyed in 20 years and 15 years, and seeing what's happening in the Middle East, probably I'm not very optimistic that art could change things, but probably also that this is the only thing we can do. We give it a try. That's what we're doing.
It is really a process of creating a bridge. And with any kind of process like that, it's a lot of work, but we are so happy to be involved and to be a part of the Biennale. In Grenada, we are a tiny island in the Southern Caribbean of 100,000 people. Our theme, The Bridge, is a bridge from Grenada to the world. It's a bridge from the world to Grenada. We believe that art is the strongest diplomatic tool that we have and the strongest connector of people. So we are hoping that our pavilion will give an understanding of the possibilities of a world of peace.